Everyone, Snapshot from Glue coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. So we've been getting loads of questions the last few days, specifically about the tech. And so I quickly want to address those. And so generally the question we get most is how is Glue better than X, right? Insert Avalanche, Solana, kind of whatever your current favorite is. And so the answer that everyone seems to want is it's better in every way possible, right? And I kind of wanted to quickly talk about our thinking. How do we optimize Glue, and how do we really see that it compares? And so first off, I want to say our goal is not to compete with other L1s. And so the question of how is it better than Avalanche isn't necessarily the question that I think you should be asking. I think the question is how is the tech better than Coinbase, Binance, etc., right? Decentralized exchanges, which is really the audience that we are going after. And there, I think the answer is very clear. Yes, our technology is better because it is fully decentralized, right? Decentralized exchanges obviously use centralized tech. Our goal is to provide an alternative to centralized exchanges that are equally easy to use and equally secure, if not more secure, and do so in a fully decentralized way, right? So I think the comparison of how are we better is it's the right thing to look at comparing it with is a centralized exchange. And there, I think we win hands down because we are fully decentralized. And so, since I fully know that that's not actually the answer anyone wants, I'll also kind of do the how are we different from other chains comparison. And so, here's how I think the best way is to think about that. In my opinion, anyone who says this chain is better in every way is probably not telling you the truth, right? Each chain makes trade-offs. Some chains trade off for speed. Some chains trade off for decentralization. Everyone makes trade-offs. And we do as well, right? So I think I want to be very clear. Every chain makes trade-offs. And I think where Glue is better is that we have a better trade-off strategy than other chains. And let me explain that. So right now, and this goes for pretty much all the major L1s and L2s out there, effectively they are pretty general use case chains, meaning you can really do everything on Optimism that you can do in Arbitrum, that you can do in Ethereum, that you can do in Avalanche, right? There's no specialization of the chain for certain use cases. And what that means is that the tech trade-offs they make are generic ones, right? You want to be reasonably fast, reasonably decentralized, reasonably cheap, right? And they have to trade off for being reasonably good at everything, which also means they're not really great at anything. And where Glue's strategy, I think, is very different, and where I think the tech will be better, is that different L2s on Glue can make different trade-offs. And that means whatever. One L2 might be for gaming, so we say, look, being fully censorship resistant is less important for a gaming chain than it is for, let's say, a finance chain. And so we can have a different set of sequencers on the gaming chain that is much more optimized for being fast. It will be trading off censorship resistance, but not every use case has the same requirements. And so what we've done is the different L2s have different trade-offs. And so as a totality, as an ecosystem, I think the usability, both for developers and for users, ends up being better because different L2s make different trade-offs. For example, we could say, hey, this one L2 is specifically for rollups, and so we can make it extremely slow because it doesn't matter for rollups how fast the data posts. We could make it very large block size, and we can say it is not that decentral or not that censorship resistant, just because it doesn't really matter for that use case specifically, right? I mean, it does matter that it's secure, and all L2s on Glue will be secure because the security is done by the L1. But different use cases have different trade-offs. And so I would say that the way that we can be considered better is I believe we have a better trade-off strategy than other networks that are much more monolithic. And so the underlying L1 that does the security with the unique L2s that are differently optimized, I really feel that is by far the biggest strength from a tech perspective that Glue brings. We can have different trade-offs for different use cases. And so I'm very excited to see what people build, where they build it, and how they build it, given that they now have a lot more choice per trade-offs while staying on the same chain and while avoiding fracturing liquidity and the user base.